You know what? I'm gonna see if I can bomb this guy in mid-air. Why not? Do something out of ordinary, right? Here we go. Yeah, bombed him mid-air. How you like that, Miller?
You just what?
I just bombed that bomber mid-air. I'm gonna bomb Delta real quick.
Oh, we have a few AOD guys here.
We lost objective Charlie.
AK assholes on duty.
Sweet, just nailed a few. I never had any problem with those guys. Yeah, Loki, keep hitting them with the AA, man. Appreciate it. Let's see who gets them first.
Return to the battle, soldier.
Sweet, got him. Well, we got him. Thanks, man.
Taking control of objective Baker. We can win this battle. Keep it up. Objective Dog is secure. We've lost our control of objective Able.
Nada.
Okay, he's not in that building, so he's probably underneath the bridge. Wish you could have like some kind of an in-game voice chat thing.
There is, just press left alt, that's the in-game.
Objective Charlie is under our control.
finally got the AA.
Oh fuck, I'm dying. No perfect game for me.
You know what? Forget this flak panzer. I'm gonna hit him head on. And I'm gonna drop some AT mines down there too. Haha, looks like they're loving those AT mines. Run over them. And they keep running over them. This is great. I'm gonna finish this guy off. He crashed. No, that's not the kill on him. That's actually from AT mines. I'm gonna play some more right here. Oh wait, I'm out. More AT mine kills. Oh my god.
Attention all squads.
Oh, that's awesome.
Objective Baker.
Hello everyone. Thanks for watching today's episode. We're looking at the P51K fighter for the American side. Quite a bit to go over as far as the specialization tree, tips and tricks and all that. Let's first take a look at my specialization tree. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not too big of a fan of this plane. I wanted to like it, but comparing this to the P51D, honestly, the P51D is just so much better. We'll get into the reasons for that here in a bit. But my current specialization tree is this right here, and that is the 4X LMGs. In some of the clips you'll see that I actually switched it around. I went with this, with the explosive cannons. To be honest, I can't honestly say which one was the one that was the best for me. I think I got the most amount of kills with this. I can't honestly make a recommendation as far as what would be the best for you. If you're more into strafing, it's honestly a toss-up between this variation of the 4X LMGs, which of course, you know, it does pair with, you're going to get dual, see over here on the left, you're going to get dual 20mm cans. So, you know, each one varies, but in the sky, in some of those clips, you see me, I switched to, what was it, number 2. So this would be number 1 on the keyboard. Number 2 would switch directly to actually this right here, not the explosive cannons. And I would take out enemy bombers. But anyway, yeah, the 4X LMGs. And then I went with the engine upgrade instead of the high altitude package. And the reason for that is most likely you're going to go up against a BF109G6. Most likely that pilot, unfortunately, is going to have the high altitude package. I say unfortunately because if you guys seen Nika Man's video, he goes over about the bug that exists in this game, unfortunately, until they fix it. And they might not fix it, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, the bug in which you can have the high altitude package as well, and that BF109 G6 unfortunately is still gonna have a higher ceiling than any one of your fighters. So yeah, I decided not to go with the high altitude package. I went with the engine upgrade instead. And then of course the field repair, I felt as though that was really important because of all the AA. You need to be able to quickly drop your bombs, and then after that you know, do the instant repair. Emergency repair just felt like it wasn't enough. You need to do the instant field repair. Then the two 500-pound bombs. A quick tip is, if you saw some of the clips in the video, which hopefully you did, let's say you're going over a tank target. Of course, you don't want to be too low. You never want to be too low anyway, because of the Fliegerfaust, or, you know, some guy who's just generally good with a bazooka, enemy fire, tanks, you name it, right? So give yourself a little bit of height before you drop it down. So you'll notice in my clips, I go over the target, I drop it once like normal. I don't want to go back to resupply yet. I want to finish that tank off. Then shortly after that, as soon as it regens the activation for the next 500-pound bomb, you want to hit it one more time. This allows you basically to hit him with 1,000 pounds worth of bombs and be able to finish that tank off. Takes some getting used to, but if you're a person that really set on wanting to use the P51K, this is how I recommend it. And then also you'll see that what I do is I do a 3-hit combo. What I do is get high enough on altitude to drop the 2 like I mentioned, and then I come over and I deploy AT mines at the same time. Some of those aren't going to hit directly in that path. Some might land like directly on top or near it, but that's how I went about it, at least. And then of course last, the die breaks. I felt as though the die breaks were pretty awesome. If I'm gonna get a can't talk. If I'm gonna give a compliment to this plane, I'm gonna say it's the die breaks, definitely. You know, normally this plane really isn't gonna win a mini dogfights against a BF-109 G6, but if you happen to get that guy on your tail, by all means, use these die breaks to your advantage. You'll have the enemy pilot basically flying over you. Now, granted, they're probably going to have that, you know, those rocket pods that the BF-109 G6 gets. So, I mean, don't try to assume that he doesn't have it, because most likely he does. And if he's on your 6, you're going to be history soon. So, constantly, you know, try to look behind you. For me, it's a middle mouse key, or middle mouse key on the mouse, and try to have an idea where he's at. But if he's already spent those rocket pods on you, then I would definitely say, you know, instead of doing the typical stall like with was it the Japanese Zero, the A6M5, or the other variation, to sense you're still going to use that tactic, but the die breaks allows you to not completely stall, if you will. You're able to literally let your opponent fly over you, and then you can pounce them. But the only thing then, though, is, again, going back to this, these aren't really that strong enough, to be honest. So what I had to do was a lot of switching from the 4X LMGs to the 20mm cannons, back and forth, because of course, you know, they're going to overheat. So if this overheats, you know, he might hit number 3 and repair himself, or he hits the smoke and then he gets away from you. So again, it's a lot of your playstyle. I mean, I honestly did try it with this, and, you know, I would say, what, about 6 months ago, that variation actually worked out. But, of course, DICE nerfed the 20mm high explosive cannons dramatically, in which they're just not as strong as they used to be. So I know this seems like a lot to go over. I can't really say there's one set one. This wasn't that great. The LMG tracers, or say non-tracers for stealth, this actually works really well with the P51D. Again, another video I'll show you with that. I know it seems like I'm all over the map with this. It's just, honestly, it's about your playstyle. And even if you have a playstyle, you might switch it mid-game. Other thing I was going to mention is, if you're in game and you want to switch playstyles, when you have your plane selected, believe it or not, in the lower left-hand corner, or in the lower middle part of the screen, I should say, it will say Customize. And you can actually reset this on the fly before you deploy. A lot of people don't realize that. So, but again, anyway, the die breaks are just absolutely phenomenal. But what I was going to say, when I'm flying over the target, I think towards the end, you'll see, yeah, the previous clip before we got into the specializations. You'll see me fly over a target. I think it's Al Sundan's main deployment area for flak panzers and tanks and so on. Let's face it, those things are a pain in the butt, right? So what you want to do is you want to cripple them. People could say, well, that's cheap or whatever you want to call it. Hey, you want to get knocked out of sky all the time by those things? Well, I don't. Call it whatever you want to call it. Go over there. The resupply is on the other side of that little hill mountain in that area. Just like you just saw in my clips. Go over there, resupply, go right immediately back there, and just literally pave the road, if you will, with these AT mines. I believe you get, the icon shows 3, but I think you actually get 5 when it's deployed. And like you saw in the clips, I mean, it's just literally boom, boom, boom. I mean, they keep running over them, which makes it great for you and, you know, the rest of your little Air Force or squadron that you have. And yeah, honestly, that's the only recommendation I can make for the P51K, unfortunately, is that it's pretty effective for that type of, I guess you could say air support, ground support, air support, what do you want to call it, is that it's able to cripple tanks as they're trying to deploy out. I cannot give it, this plane, you know, an A+ rating. Honestly, I think I would give this plane a C, maybe C+, and that's really pushing it. The main reason is just it doesn't have that knockdown power. It doesn't have that firepower that you need to have going up enemy fighters. Is it decent against enemy bombers? Sorta. You know, you get an enemy bomber in which, let's say it's the Junkers 88A, and that guy has a crew with him, and he hits F3 to be that belly gunner position. Oh man, you're gonna have to go back and forth, left to right. Do not get on that guy's 6. They'll mow you down real quick. But generally speaking, you shouldn't be on their 6 anyway for too long with a tail gunner like that anyway. But yeah, if you're willing to take the time, go back and forth, reposition yourself, eventually take it out. But then if they deploy a BF-109 G6 pilot, you're just not going to really stand that much of a chance, unfortunately. The firepower on this is just too light. Like this, light machine gun. Now, if this would have been a BF-109 G2, as you know, their variation hits a lot harder than this. In fact, I don't even know. I'm thinking maybe theirs is a heavy machine gun. Let's take a look real quick, actually, while we're at it. So, for instance, the G2. All right. Yeah, there you go. Well, it says 4X LMG, but I don't care who you are. This actually, for whatever reason, hits harder. I know it says it's light machine guns, but it just hits a lot harder than this P51K's light machine guns. To me, this is just weak. I don't know if it's coded that way, and it's very well possible. You know, so sometimes that's what happens. It'd be interesting to see what the actual damage is if somebody wants to do the comparison. I personally am not going to use this variation too much, other than, you know, the AT mines, or just for, you know, something out for fun. Other things you can do is the incendiary bombs, but again, this was absolutely nerfed maybe about 2 to 3 months after the Pacific update. I know this, again, this is the P51K, and this is not the Corsair, but again, they did nerf the incendiary bombs, in which they're not remotely as good as they used to be. They used to be tremendous. You would combo with flares, and it was just absolutely awesome. The parafrag bombs, again, if you get it down, let me know. I didn't have much luck with this. I just thought to be somewhat effective, not really racking up like insane kills, although I did do decent. You guys saw in the clips. But if you want to do decent, you gotta go with this variation. The other, it's just experimental, and you're just, you know, you're just doing whatever. So yeah, there you go. I know it's kind of wild to explain it, and kind of all over the map with with P51K, but it's really unfortunate because it should have been one of those planes that's just absolutely amazing. So if you see another Mustang video, which of course you will eventually, just not real soon, I'm going to do a P51D Volume 2, and it's actually going to be the stealth variation, because the stealth variation has this 2 times heavy machine gun non-tracer rounds. They're actually pretty good. You get behind a 109 G6 that's focused on a bomber, and they can't even see it coming from a mile away, so that works out pretty well. Comparing the P51D, even without the stealth rounds, going with this, it's just, look at this, 6 50 caliber machine guns. It says HMG, but trust me, if you follow, historical aircraft, it was 6 50 caliber machine guns. The variation on the P51K, if it would have had 4 50 caliber machine guns, or hell, even 2, would have been better than that 4X LMGs. It's just too weak. So, but if you insist this is your plane and you got to go with it, then again, I would highly recommend, like I mentioned earlier, you get high, drop 1 500-pounder, let the thing spin to replenish the next one to be able to use. Hit left click, drop it again, and then this right here. So there you guys go. Thank you for allowing me to explain that in depth and take a little bit more time to do that. Go with a different airplane. I hate to say that. Go with a different fighter. Go with a P51D. Hell, go with the P70. It's just not worth it. If you got to have the self-repair, then I don't know what to tell you. So, sorry. Can't really endorse this plane. C+ rating, P51K. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.